should be Facebook. Go to Facebook page. I don't have Facebook. Oh, me. Go to LinkedIn. Yep. Go to LinkedIn. Oh, okay.
Welcome to the 20th anniversary of ILEETA and our conference for 2023. I'd ask you to stand, please, while the St. Louis Metro Police Department Honor Guard presents the colors. Go. And now, because this conference is being held in the United States, we are able to have Officer Emeritus Powers from the St. Louis Metro Police Department sing our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last
Many, many years ago, when I started law enforcement training, I met a man named Colonel Robert Lindsay. Coach, we call him. Coach isn't able to be with us. Coach was up at many law enforcement training conferences. We did ask for the 20th anniversary to be part of the invitation, so we give you Coach Lindsay.
I come here today in prayer unto you in the presence of some of the most valiant, ethical people of integrity that live in the United States. They are officers of the law that took a vow before you to protect and serve. It's my prayer to you today. I ask you to bless them, to protect them on duty, off duty, and to protect their families. I also ask you to bring them peace, the peace of knowing that they are respected, loved, and revered, and that people actually stand up for them. Dear Father, these people are the thin blue line that stand between crime and freedom. Please bless them abundantly. Please allow them to enjoy the presence of you and within them. And Almighty God, please give them everlasting hope, strength, compassion, mercy, and understanding that as they do their job, they are also doing your will. I place them in your capable hands, O Lord my God, and I place this prayer to you from me and from them. This I ask in your name. Amen.
You may be seated, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, I come here today in prayer.
And the only entry we make that the coach has to make is the world, not just the United States. So, by the way, and I forgot to introduce myself, my name is Harvey Hedden. I'm the executive director of ILEETA. And I will be your MC for this morning. Our mission this morning is to get you out and get you to training as fast as you can, but there is some important information we need to impart. Helping us speed that process along, unfortunately, Lieutenant Colonel Sack from the St. Louis Metro was to be here today, but had to take his wife to the hospital. She and he are both in our prayers. Family always comes first, whether it's in you and your lives or here at ILEETA. So our prayers for Lieutenant Colonel Sack. We do want to spend a moment to talk a little bit about the history of ILEETA. There are some people I recognize here that were part of that they did it, but it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. 20 years ago in a place called Rolling Meadows, Illinois. There was a use of force conference hosted by Ed Nowicki and the National Criminal Justice Training Council, which I'm just proud to say I was part of. And we got a group of people together and decided that it was something that needed to be done. We needed a new fraternal organization of trainers, exclusively of trainers and educators, and one that would focus on really a very simple mission: good communications, networking, sharing of information between our members in a good conference, and member benefits as well. If we can keep focused on those things, not be distracted by other things, to keep our personalities and our egos outside the organization, we would succeed every day. So, from that, we have the next year a conference in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, the Holiday Express. Now, this wasn't maybe the best choice hotel we ever had. I don't remember, but our marketing director, Mary Grace Barbie, back there, found out that there was actually a dead body in the room next to hers. That's small one. Well, you guys would recognize it, I'm sure. There was a drug deal I observed, so we decided after that year, it was time to go. We went to the Arlington Heights. We did 2 years there. Arlington Heights Sheridan. Unfortunately, we decided to build a water park. We thought about bringing the conference back there, but there wasn't enough people engaged in water activities. So we then went to the West End in Wheeling. How many were at Wheeling West End? Good number of you, yes. This is a great location. When we signed the contract, the hotel hadn't even been built yet. They were very good to us, but we outgrew that. We didn't have enough rooms in the area. There wasn't enough overflow hotels in the area, and realized we had to try to move on. So we went from there to Lombard. Well, Lombard, okay in some areas, it was big, but we had some other issues with it, so we went back to Wigan and Western. And when we were there, we realized we were getting overcrowded. It's time to move on again. So, kind of in the interim, we moved to the Rosemont facility, and we shared that with groups like Heroes and Villains, and the Little Miss Contest, and things like that. And yeah, this talk was fun. We got to get out of here. And we were fortunate that at that time, the group that actually helps us find places like this, found Union Station, came to us, and actually the manager came out to the conference in Rosemont to see what idea was about, which showed real professionalism. And then we came, of course, to St. Louis, where we've been since then. So we come here because they give us what we need, and they don't take from us what we don't need. We don't buy $75 plate rubber chicken dinners here that they cost for conference goes up. They allow us to bring in things like the donuts outside, and the coffee, and all those things, and the beer and hospitality that otherwise we pay a great deal of money for to bring in. So we really appreciate being here, and it's our intention for the time being to stay right where we're at the center of the country, where everybody can be here. I just have a few pictures, and somebody, you might recognize somebody up here. It's just possible. The guy in the upper right-hand corner will actually be doing that very same thing this week. Greg Lee, 20 years. Greg here? No, he's probably preparing for his armor class. But we started out the conference, we had about 150 people and 43 vendors that first year. We moved up considerably since then. We'll have about 640, I think, this year. We'll probably have about 10, maybe 650. We have the on-site registration done. Our expo is about 114 tables. Yeah, 114 tables. And if we have to expand from that, we can do it here. But you mentioned how many songs participated in the donut contest at home? Okay. This is one of those ideas that, after a while we just decided, okay, that was enough of that. It was fun to stand up. Some of you would like to see it come back because we gave away a gun for the winner. But when Howie Sawyer of Walworth County won like 3 consecutive years, we decided, no, maybe not. 16 donuts in 3 minutes. And then went to Bob Shin's for a steak afterwards. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still alive. You got promoted, not based on that. It has been a wonderful 20 years. I've been here for each one, including the one we missed in 2020 because of COVID. We tried real hard. If we'd have been just a little earlier, it might have been okay. But it's been a wonderful ride, a wonderful 20 years. There's Coach in the upper left-hand corner from our instructors. But now, that's my grandson down the center there. We violate some child labor laws occasionally. But I want to welcome you all. There's the Emerson Hour. The Emerson Hour is developed from an idea from Brian Willis and taken over by Joe Willis. No family relation that we know of, right? We know. But they've done wonderful with that. We hope that you'll see that as well this week. And that brings us here to 2023, where we're at today. So, before I go further, I want to recognize the largest international contingent we have ever had from outside of Canada, by the way. Canada is always a big part of this. And that would be some members from Ukraine, police officers from Ukraine to come and join us. I would ask them to stand up, please. Imagine in the morning you're going through domestic disturbance, in the afternoon you're arresting cut snaps. Different kind of things. recognize those people making all of this possible over not just this year, but all the years that we've been here. These folks contribute a great deal of their time and effort to make sure that you have a good conference. I'm still not sure why. It's love, but it's got to be. That. First of all, we've got ILEETA staff, and I think some of them are still out on the team tomorrow. No, she's probably out manning with my daughter-in-law of mine that lives up there. And we have very great partner, Director Mark. Conference staff, most of whom is not in here, but if you are with the conference staff, please stand up. Roger, would you stand up? Most of them are business staff. Advisory board members, would you stand up if you're about? Okay, you guys over that. You will be able to meet many advisory board members if you go to the expo because they'll be manning the gates there to make sure that the right people get in. The journal staff, there's Gary. First, we have St. Louis Metro was here. Great deal of support, not just from the honor guard, by the way. We had some people who were back really remember we had these wonderful citizen academies that come and help us pack bags. Remember, backpacking took maybe 2 to 3 hours. Now we use the recruits of the St. Louis Metro Academy, which if you think about it, is just kind of perfect irony, right? That the people that help pack your bags are the very people we want to help, we want to train. But they're fast, they're young and fast, and nobody gets a heart attack, and there's no oxygen administered or anything. It's a wonderful way on it. The Union Station, I want to recognize them as well. They've been a great partner to work with, and very, very, very responsive to every need we've had. The vendors, we have an expo here, but this is 114 vendors. These vendors are critical to what we do, and they're a part of the learning experience. We'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. Finally, the instructors. All the instructors that are teaching this year, please stand up. Big hand for them. A little less than 1 out of 3 people attending this conference are also teaching at this conference. So it shows what the focus is. And these folks are donating their time, their effort. That's like every week I get calls from the professional speakers. I'd like to come do your keynote, and it would be wonderful. And no, they don't want that. These guys want to go to this class. These guys want to go to that class. And it's because of these instructions that's all possible. So thank you very much. And then finally, the attendees. You're what it's about. You're where really why we're here. And the attendees are also part of the reward coming to the ILEETA conference because it's about that camaraderie. It's about the sharing. It's about networking. It's about making that lifelong friend that will change your career, should change your life. And it has happened. We also want to thank our conference sponsors. These folks keep the cost of the conference down by paying for things like the app, like the badges that you're wearing here, all these little things. The shirts, part of that is the sponsorship as well. So all these things help us. The coffee that we had this morning, the ammunition that provides assistance to the live fire folks who have to fly in or come from outside the country and it's hard to bring them with them. All those things are integral to what we do here. And of course, crown mats and the mats that are in all the PT classrooms. I want to talk a little bit about the expo. In fact, I don't spend enough time on this, but I just want to briefly say a few things. This is part of the learning experience as well. And what's happened to our expo since we started doing it is that they find out they have to put people in there who know something about the product. This is not a Chiefs conference where everybody's like a ball game. They're in there and they're asking questions, and so they have to go to front. Many times the folks that are at those booths are some of the same ones that are training in the classroom. So it's about providing a product or a service or technology, but following it up with something real that you can use. As I said, we have over 100 vendors there, and they help support this organization. They pay a good deal of cash for those tables because that means you can pay less. So that's the beauty of that operation. And along with that, this week, we're good. We've never been shy about that at ILEETA. We're not apologizing for it. One thing that we did is the ILEETA Cup, which is I think it started out as a live fire event, but now it's just frankly easier to do with a simulator. Not to worry about it. And it's an interesting training exercise. It'll challenge you. It'll make you think. And you may, if you're first place, you may win a gun. If you're second place, you win a tuition. And third place, you win a 3-year membership. So, by all means, compete. It doesn't cost anything extra. And that's sponsored by all means. The Expo Challenge is something new that Mary Grace came up with this year. And this is, we don't want to call it scavenger hunt, but what you do is you take your app, your conference app, and you go to different booths and you'll have QR codes there. You're going to talk to the vendors there, and while you're talking to them, you're going to scan the QR code. And if you build a phrase, which will be revealed to you, if you build a phrase with those words, you get entered into the raffle for a Ruger AR-556 rifle. And being, you know, not everybody will do this. If you do it, you've got a better chance of winning a rifle than somebody else. And then, of course, there's going to be guns just given away for no reason at all. The blue ticket, we'll be doing at least a gun a day during the expo. But we will ask you, when you turn those things in, make sure the one that's turned in has your cell phone number on it so we can get a hold of you. Because we're going to ask that you try to be there within 30 minutes of your name being called. Or give your ticket. If you have to be away somewhere, give your ticket to a friend. And then you know how good friend he is. Yeah, sorry, didn't win. All right. I want to talk briefly about some of the upcoming events. Emerson Hour tonight. And this is really become the kickoff of the conference. It's a wonderful event, and you'll want to be part of it. You'll really want to be there. These are folks that, again, come before the rest of us to answer that question, what has become clear to you since we last met, or what has become clear in the past year. And they will really amaze you, and it'll be a great performance. And I thank Joe Rose for putting that on. And Bristol. The Vendor Expo starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. and that will run till 6 p.m. We'll have hospitality, and we'll have some podcasts going on after that, from 6 to 8. So do some hang around for that. But the hospitality that particular night will be 6 to 8 p.m. It gives you time after that to go out and have more hospitality. You can choose on your own. Oh, and Wednesday, of course, the Expo resumes from 8 to noon. In the afternoon on Wednesday will be Expo Range Day, which basically is a demonstration of some of the things you saw at the Expo. If you're interested in that transportation, out to the St. Louis Metro Range. I already mentioned the ILEETA Cup, sponsored by Milo, the Virtual Academy podcast, which will be Wednesday night, and then we have door prizes throughout, and hospitality. Monday through Thursday, we have hospitality. You figure on Friday, you got to find your own hospitality, find your new friends, get out there and have fun. Okay. There's the explanation about the Expo Challenge, and we'll be around to do that as well. If you don't have the app yet, we're going to have posted the QR codes. Look at when you roll emails, you'll see that there's information on your app. Okay, we have some cancellations, unfortunately. As it happens, the airlines are not perfect, and a couple people had to cancel, and that includes Mr. Crystal, who is teaching, I think, today and Thursday. And we sent a push message out on the phone. There's Crystal up here and John Bob Staples up here for his first class. So apparently we've had problems with I guess Jason had problems with luggage and still didn't have anything. And because we all like to ship in, so we come up here. He doesn't have any clothes, but we're going to come up. He doesn't have any clothes or underwear or anything else. Now at least you got Tuesday set up. So you can turn that inside out for Wednesday. All right. Security is serious here. If you find someone who doesn't have one of these and they're in your class, you need to ask why. In some rare cases, an instructor may have brought a wife, girlfriend, but not both. And they may tell you that this person is here just helping with this class. We don't want the other side coming here learning our trade secrets. So do ask. And if you somehow misplace this or can't find it or whatever, come back to registration, we'll get you a new one with big ticket colors, so we know that you've got numbers. But do, obviously, take security seriously. We had yesterday a little mini protest across the street to our president. That's the first time I did it actually had a dedicated protest with like 7 people. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed. They were handmade signs, for God's sake. And it looked like somebody had problems. They were shaking when they wrote it. So come on, up your game, people. We wouldn't even call that a class here. So, replacements available registration, as I said. Everybody here is responsible for safety and security, so do take it seriously. So on that subject of safety, within your packet you will find safety rules. And we'll be actually sending folks around, not to second guess, but we've all read the e-bulletins and other things that said somebody died in training, was injured in training. Not going to happen here at home. Okay? So if you're my age, and you think you're going to go to a DT class and do the things that the 23-year-old is doing next to you, no! Don't do that. Do take all the safety precautions, safety protocols pretty seriously, especially triple checking for weapons. Okay, that seems to be the thing that you read about, right? That somebody comes in, oh, I thought I didn't have it with me, or I thought that gun was unloaded, or whatever. No live weapons in any hands-on training. The weapons used in the armor classes are actually set up for those purposes as well, so we can't hurt each other. But take it seriously, read the protocols, and use them yourself. Use those safety protocols yourself as a beginning. And if you go to the St. Louis Metro Range, come with that, there's going to be more safety protocols. And we sent something out to the live fire people, letting them know that, you may run a high-speed, low-drag, hot range where you come from, but now you're dealing with people you don't know who they are, so you need to make sure that you follow the rules that they have as well. We want to be good, visitors here. Report any issues to the instructor. If that person is unresponsive, come find one of us, we'll help them. We want to make sure everybody gets through this week safely. And report any injury as well. So we don't want to have an investigation happens after the conference. Just so you know now, even a minor injury. And we do have some first aid here and whatnot, and the hospital's very close, and we can take care of it. Okay. Other updates. As I said, the handout that you got in the schedule still includes Crystal's classes and also John Mustang's first class. That'll be a push message we'll be sending out from the app, so be aware of that. The easiest way to get those updates is obviously the app, so if you can do that, that's great. Parking at the conference, there is actually a thing on the app about parking and also the website. But basically, if you're staying here at the hotel, you get a ticket up there that helps you out. Now, is anyone trying to use the phone in the parking? I haven't done that. Supposedly you can use your phone for getting into your room and everything else, but I haven't tried on parking. That's actually a separate agency out there. Okay, so I don't want to spend much time on that. The conference app, we talked about that as well. Yeah, we had some glitches in the conference app. It turns out if you add or delete one thing and move the rest of the schedule, we apologize for that, but do update it when you reload your conference app, it will automatically update. See, here's all the information on that. You'll also find this at registration, all this information. But the app is also a way to network with new people. You can actually go on there, register yourself, and you can network with folks and communicate that way, in case you don't want to give your phone number. All right. One of the most important elements of the conference is networking, and we talked about that, but it's really something that you have to put yourself out there to do. You have to make that effort. And each year, we've talked about that, but the person I think that best provides not just the message about sharing and about the purpose of this conference is our Deputy Executive Director. Whoever people think I don't know too much, remember, I think it's Brian Willis to be our Deputy Executive Director. things that he talked about recently is the concept of community of practice. And what he said is that the etymology of the word community means together gifting. Coming together and gifting. Gifting experiences. And that's what this conference is about. That's what this organization is about. It's about coming together and gifting experiences that you continue to have. But not only gifting those experiences, but the lessons that we've learned from those experiences. Because we don't share the lessons that the experiences of our limited value to us. And regardless of whether you've been here for the full 20 years or whether you're new to this journey, the reality is that what we need to understand and embrace is that this is a journey. We will never get to that destination. We will never have gotten to the point where we have arrived. There is always more to learn. There is always more experiences. There is always more lessons. There are always different places to go. And so as a community of trainers, what we need to do is we need to embrace the long game, the infinite game, and realize that there will become a point where some of us will move on, and the game will continue. Our goal needs to be to perpetuate the game, to keep the game going, to keep the learning going, to keep this organization going, to keep the growth going. And as we continue on that journey, we need to retain the amateur mentality and the amateur mindset. And I'm going to go back to Carl Woods. And what Carl Woods said, he said, amateur in an etymological sense is to love the inquirer, and the joy of continually exploring and figuring things out, and trying to focus on getting the right things right. Not so that I can stand up and validate my knowledge against what the relevant experts say, but caring about getting the right things right because they matter. And if I'm not sure, then reach out, ask questions, be humble. And there's no better place to reach out and ask questions than here during this week. So we're celebrating 20 years in the pursuit of excellence in law enforcement training. And the pursuit of excellence is about continually striving to be better tomorrow than we are today, making small incremental improvements in our own knowledge and our skills and our understanding and our learning, to make every class that we teach better than the last time we taught. And the pursuit of excellence is about investing in the next generation of trainers, and continually seeking to train your replacement. Investing in the next generation of people in this profession. In one of the Facebook Live interviews I had the pleasure of doing with Brian Hill and Todd Fletcher and Joe Willis, I talked about the concept that if you don't go, you won't know what you don't know. And that was about coming to this conference. Now that you're here, what we need to remember is that if you don't go in search of new information and knowledge while you're here, then you won't know what you don't know. If you don't go to classes at the conference with an open mind, then you won't know what you don't know. If you don't go to classes that are going to challenge the way you think, the way you teach, the way you believe, then you won't know what you don't know. And if you don't take the opportunity while you're here to reach out, to ask questions, then you won't know what you don't know. And we need to continue to seek that, to expose that, to be vulnerable, to expose that within ourselves, so that we grow, so we can be a best service to the men and women of our profession we have the privilege of honor of serving. Jim Collins, in Good Grade, the social sector, said that no matter what you've accomplished or achieved, you're always going to be good relative to what you can become. Greatness is inherently not an end state, but a journey. And the moment you start to think of yourself as great, then your slide towards mediocrity will have begun. The moment that we start to think that we're a great communicator, that we're a great trainer, that we're great in whatever role, that is where our slide towards mediocrity will begin. Because that is where we will stop doing the work. We will close our mind. We will stop challenging ourselves to learn and to grow. And don't let the journey end here. Don't let the exploration end here. When you go back to your agency, share what you learned. Be intentional about sharing what you learned, sharing what you're taking away from, finding ways to incorporate what you learned into your training. Do a deeper dive into the concepts and the principles that you've learned here this week. Follow up with those trainers. Follow up with the connections that you make this week. But there's another side to the pursuit of excellence. Your blog from Human Diary wrote, we often focus on blaming individuals for not following their training or doing something stupid, as opposed to understanding why it made sense for them to do what they did. So this highlights another aspect of the pursuit of excellence, which is about looking in the mirror, following these high-profile events, where everyone on social media is blaming the officers involved for not following their training or doing something stupid. And instead of getting caught up in that, asking ourselves, what piece of this do I own? What piece of this do we collectively own? The pursuit of excellence is not about getting caught up in the online flurry of bluster and blame, especially when you have little or no accurate information. Cindy Decker tells us that you can blame or you can learn, but you can't do both. This is a learning organization. This is an organization of people who are committed their lives to the pursuit of learning and sharing what we've learned. This is not an organization of blame. We owe more to the profession than we owe more to the men and women of the profession. So excellence is about not getting caught up in the bluster and the blame. Leave that to the end of form. Leave that to the internet trolls. Excellence is also about not getting caught up in the greatest lie in law enforcement. The greatest lie in law enforcement always starts with the same 7 words. If I was there, I would have. And everything that comes after that is bullshit. Because the only people who know what they would do if they were there are the people that were there who did what they did. It's not our place to blame. It's our place to learn. It's our place to ask ourselves, if that was me, what would I most like to do, and have I actually trained, prepared my mind and my body for where they may have to go? If that was one of my people, have I actually trained them? Have I trained them in a way that lent itself to understanding, learning, retention, and the ability to recall and apply what they've learned? Have I trained people in a way that allows them to be dexterous, adaptive problem solvers? Have I trained for critical thinking, or we simply trained for applying? And we need to shift. We have a responsibility. We all have 3 circles. Circle of control, circle of influence, which is a little bigger, and a circle of concern. Focus on your circles of control and your circle of influence. Focus on what you can do by looking at your own training and asking those critical questions that we talked about. It is only through this reflection and the continual pursuit of excellence that we can best be of service to the heroic men and women of this profession that we have the honor of serving every single day. And as trainers, you are in one of the most influential leadership positions in this profession. And you are the face and the future of this profession, and you get to train the face and the future of this profession every day. Harvey mentioned that St. Louis Police Department was very gracious. They had one of those crew classes who was here helping us yesterday. And I had the opportunity to work with them, and they were a tremendous group of young people, excited. They're a month away from graduating and went out the street. Exactly where I was 43 years ago when I was a month away from graduating and going out the street. When the sirens went off. It's typical cops. When the sirens go off everywhere else, everybody gets the hell out. You guys just stay here and wonder what's going to happen. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here at this conference. I want to thank you for what you do, each and every one of you. I want to thank you for you being willing to step up and accept the mantle of responsibility to be part of the training community within our profession. Like I say, you have a lot of influence, but with that influence comes a tremendous amount of responsibility, a tremendous amount of accountability, and a reminder always that it is not about you, it's not about us, it always has to be about the people we have the privilege, the honor of serving, teaching, and training. And I want to leave you with a reminder and a challenge from Clint Bruce. We are not done yet. Thank you. I have to advance this slide before Brian sees I put up any of my training up there. Because he wouldn't allow me to do that. It's true that you could change this name up here to International Law Enforcement Student Association, because truly, we aren't just trainers. More importantly, we're students. We're always will be a student until the day we die. So I thank Brian for being here. I do have one more important announcement. You don't have to raise your hands for this, but if you couldn't get a triple XL shirt, you had to get a double XL, we now found the triple XL shirt. So go back to that, but don't identify yourself right now. There are no quadruple X. There's no quadruple X and no smalls, I'm sorry. Okay. Our next and last element today is the Trainer of the Year. And many years ago, ILEETA took over from another group, presentation of a Trainer of the Year. The Trainer of the Year is nominated by you, the members, and it is selected, not by me, not by the advisory board, but by the previous winners of the Trainer of the Year. So they look over what was submitted and what they're able to find out about the various trainers, and they select that person. We have a number of them. I would like to meet the folks that are trainer of the year. Come on up. Joe, I know you're busy, so you can stay back there. If you're a trainer of the year, you come up. I guess maybe it's Joe, Brian, there's Todd. But, we've been doing this for a number of years. Just kind of welcome the next person into your ranks. All right. I'll tell you a little bit about the person that's the Trainer of the Year. He's a former Marine. Of course, you're never a former Marine, right? How many Marines in the audience? There we go.
That one, Ura? Really?
He's also a charter member of ILEETA. This person is also a sergeant in his department. It's a he. Yeah. He's got over 20 years of law enforcement training experience. He has a real notable background. He was also vice chair of the Colorado Post Arrest Control SNE Committee. And now I think he knows who it is. He's also the editor of the Safety and Use of Force section of the ILEETA Journal, advisor to Blue Health, and also the moderator of the ILEETA Facebook page, which I really appreciate because that's become a vehicle for you all to communicate and exchange information and ideas. He's also the owner of Mental Ammo. And I will never avoid promoting something that our folks are doing, whether it's Mental Ammo or any of your organizations. So I wish you welcome to the ranks of Trainer of the Year, Sergeant Brian Hill. Now Brian gets to say a few words.
Speechless. Wow. I could have done this without a lot of people in the audience. One of them doing their job last thing to kind of take me in the seat to submit a proposal. And actually, I think you got me to be the editor of the officer safety section of the journal. Wow. I mean, what an honor this is to be selected. This is like I'm speechless. I've never thought of it last year. Struggling, I'm struggling too. So you all have the potential to do this next year. So strive to be the best you can. Be a sponge this week. Be a sponge when you get back to your agency the rest of your life. Continue to learn and continue to contribute and do things for not just your department agency, but for your communities that you see. Thank you.
you again for being here. I want to emphasize for you to be safe this week and take something home that's great for you, for your agency, for your future, for your career. If there's anything to make your week better, by all means, let us know. Thank you. Have a great time.
So Dan sent me a text. Those are mine. Clean, I hope, I said. So I'm going to take this to class. We're going to put this up, and I'm going to take a photo of this and tell the world.
Rich, brother.
I thought he was talking to you. Well, probably. And then I realized, Dan, congratulations. Here. Fucking. Congratulations. Honored to have been on the conversation. I was expecting something a little different. I was hoping for some Skippy Spider-Man. Well, hey, I don't know if it was Wayne's idea or. Are we still recording?